Hello, I'm Alexandra Sleator, Career Accelerator, and that means that working together we can achieve your career aspirations faster than on your own. We can work on a range of career challenges, such as progressing your career by, for example, articulating and then executing a career promotion strategy. Or we can repackage your talents into a new role. We can also support you in your current role by helping you develop or polish skills such as communication, influence, team management, or even leadership. And finally, if you've been on a career break, we can help you make a successful comeback, or we can even help you to find that new career that you want to embark on and which will be more fulfilling. Whatever your project, we can work together in a cost and time efficient way. This video is the first of a three-part series that I am dedicating to presentations. Indeed, these days, presentations are part and parcel of corporate life for many of us, especially in the larger organizations. And these firms spend a lot of time and money training people up and providing them with presentation training skills in order that they both competently write and then deliver presentations. And yet I am quite interested to notice that despite all this investment of time and money, people still come to me with so many challenges and questions and comments around presentations. So I thought that in these three-part series I would discuss with you some core challenges around, first, for today, presentation anxiety. Because it's true that many of us still feel, the odd presentation jitters. And then in the second installment, I'll share with you some, I think, easy but yet powerful techniques to competently and confidently deliver your presentation. And finally, we'll look at a structure, a simple one again, to produce a presentation that is guaranteed to have impact. So that's the program on presentations. And so today, we're looking again at presentation anxiety, presentation nerves. For some, it takes the form of an accelerated heartbeat. For others, a dry mouth, sometimes sweating, or simply just a sense of pressure at the pit of your stomach. So let's look at what is going on there, because that is the first step, making sense, in managing that presentation anxiety. And when we have a concern around presentation, three things could be going on. And the challenge is that sometimes not just one, but actually two or even all three of them could be going on at the same time. So I've broken them up in pieces for you so that they're a little bit more easy to understand. The first type of presentation anxiety I call the concerned caveman's fear. And that's because it takes us all the way back to the origin of man, when we were living in the caves. And at that time, our brain was a much simple piece of apparatus than it is now, and it was really a threat management equipment, and it was designed to enable us to make very quick decisions, to either fight or flight. So it was safety that was paramount, and in that sense we are programmed to look for safety, and one of the ways to be safe is to be part of a group. So we are also programmed to want to be part of a collective, and we are programmed to be concerned around being kicked out of that group. Because in the days of the caveman, being thrown out of the cave could mean death very quickly. Now, what couldn't get you kicked out of a group? Well, standing out, saying something stupid, saying something offensive, or simply not behaving in line with the expectations of that group. Now let's fast forward to the 21st century. And here you are, about to stand up and stand out in front of a group of people, and you could say something stupid. Lo and behold, you could even say something offensive, and simply not perform that well in your presentation. So that all part of your brain is going something like, oh, this is a threatening situation, because if you don't do well, you could get kicked out of the group and you could die. Clearly in the 21st century nobody dies when one is kicked out of a group because you are not out there in the cold outside the cave. But that old fear is still there. It's part of your DNA, it's part and parcel of your humanity, and in fact it's a good fear because it's the one that has allowed us to thrive. And even today in the 21st century it is still that fear that allows you in a split second to see that car coming and to avoid it and not have a car crash. But clearly in the 21st century there are also many situations now where that part of your brain is less relevant and that fear less helpful. But accept it as part of your humanity and thank it for all the good stuff it has done to humanity and to you over the years. As I said, it's only in the second video that I will share some delivery techniques, but I hope again that by understanding what could be going on for you and your presentation jitters, that it's already a first step in the right direction. Now the second type of presentation anxiety I call the emotional warrior's fear. Because there what could be going on is that you've had a negative experience earlier in your life which effectively is resurfacing. So let's think, for example, that one day at school you were asked to present something and that it didn't go well. Everybody was laughing at you, you felt embarrassed, and that memory of that event is connected to a pretty strong negative emotion, such as feeling embarrassed, shame, feeling angry that people were laughing at you. And so that memory and its associated negative emotion are still there, and they're literally returning to haunt you, because it is very possible that you will not be immediately aware of what memory could be triggering that discomfort today. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that if there is a vague discomfort around presentation anxiety, you need to reconnect to that memory. And you need to re-examine it, and you need to de-awfulize it. So the past is really just that, past. And we can of course learn from it, but that doesn't mean we need to let the past burden us today with the weight of obstructive memories. So there are many techniques to let go of the past and to integrate the past in a positive and constructive way into the present. Now, how can you tell that you may have the emotional warrior's fear, where indeed your discomfort around presenting has more to do with a memory and a negative emotion in the past than the concerned caveman's? Well, it's because typically that second type of fear will lead you to procrastinate around writing the presentation. The caveman's fear is really around delivery. It manifests just a few minutes before we go on stage. Whereas the other type of fear will grip you much earlier. And so that's usually a telltale sign that you could have a memory-related type of anxiety, and that you need to go and look for that memory so that you can again de-awfulize it and move forward. But there's a third type of presentation anxiety that could be going on, and this one is very easy to spot. I call it the demanding brain's fear. And the demanding brain is one where you will have a lot of thoughts, possibly, sometimes just a few circling in your mind, and those thoughts will say something like, I must always be interesting and engaging. I mustn't show I'm nervous. I must cover all the topics. I must answer all the questions. My presentation must be perfect. So, because those are thoughts that are in your conscious awareness, you can more readily spot them, and they too are likely to prevent you from writing your presentation, because clearly they consume a lot of brain power and they are very distracting and remove you from your actual goal, which is to write your presentation and then deliver it competently. So what does that mean, those thoughts? What to do about them? Well, first of all, connect with them. Be clear what are you thinking, and then rationally analyze them, examine them, especially ask yourself how useful are they. And maybe then consider replacing them with more constructive statements, such as, instead of saying, I must always be engaging and interesting, saying something, I would like for the audience to find me interesting and engaging, and I have prepared my presentation well, so that indeed the topic should be of interest, but I am human and fallible, and I cannot guarantee that 100% of the audience will find me all the time interesting and engaging, and I accept that about myself. That's a more helpful way of thinking that will free you to actually spend your mind on working on both writing the presentation, rehearsing it, doing all the things that actually will help you be engaging, interesting, as opposed to worrying about it. So there you have it, the 3 types of concerns that usually make us feel uncomfortable about presenting, whether it's even writing the slides or of course standing up in front of people and starting to speak. It is the concern caveman's fear of being kicked out of the group. It is the emotional warrior's fear linked to a negative memory in earlier life, and it is the demanding brain's pressure on us to do well in an unrealistic way. So did that sound like one of the kind of anxieties that maybe you at times suffer from when it comes to presenting? If so, I'd love to hear about it, and so please do not hesitate to drop me a line. My email address is coming up on the screen. I'd also be very interested to know how you deal with your presentation anxiety. What kind of techniques you have found work for you in moving forward, in standing up and speaking anyway, and in, of course, writing down very powerful presentations to start with. So I hope that this was helpful to you in looking at presentation jitters, which is something that most of us experience. And I will look forward to seeing you for the next installment to look at simple but powerful delivery techniques that, if you integrate them, will make speaking up a much more comfortable and successful experience. So until that time, I wish you really well. I'd love to hear from you again, and of course, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.